Welcome in, everybody. This is Sports and Money, Sports and Money KC. I am Ben Parker, joined by Youssef. They call me Mr. U. Youssef, how you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man. Been a fun night already.
Yeah, so we've already done one recording. We do it every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. EST. Almost the first half of the show is always NFL football. Got the board right behind me, the magic white whiteboard.
I need help out there in them streets.
I know, man. Listen, you're going to come back. I got a feeling those stock investments are going to pay
I
off.
have
Okay?
time to come back is my question. Is there enough
Oh
time
yeah,
to come back?
you do, because this will run through mid-August. So I haven't set the exact date yet. But right around the second Tuesday of August, you got like 5 or 6 weeks, man.
All right, okay. I feel better now. All right. You got a shot.
All right. Well, tonight, me and yourself are talking WNBA, a lot of different things. We will start with one of the over talked about points, but then we're going to get into some other stuff that me and yourself really like to talk about, the WNBA. We did a show like this 2 or 3 weeks ago, doing another one again tonight. But yourself, first of all, if you will, I can't listen to all your stuff, but I listen to quite a bit of your stuff, and I've heard you guys talking on WNBA and everything else. But tell everybody some of the shows that you're into right now.
All right. Well, I'm the host of They Call Me Mr. U, the podcast. It comes on Mondays at 9 a.m. EST, and the host of a new wrestling show that we just started. I think our 4th episode to be Thursday night. We have an episode before and after every big pay-per-view. We break it down, take viewer questions, do recaps, break down storylines. Just future booking. Really fun. We're doing that. I'm a co-host on the Wednesday wrap-up. They consider me a host. I try to become a co-host, but I'm part of the team. We do that every Wednesday at 9 a.m. also EST. And just do some drop-ins every once in a while on other people's shows and stuff. And I stay busy Monday through Thursday. I'm doing something most times.
That's a lot of recording. Now your Monday 9 o'clock is live, right?
Yeah, they're all live. Yeah, they're all live.
Okay. All right. So all
those
those times, yeah. So people want to hook up.
I pre-record teachings during the week.
Okay.
I pre-record that, and the interviews are live too. I just pre-record some teachings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So if y'all want to jump in, I know you said Monday morning, 9 a.m. EST. What's the other time on a couple of lives if people want to hop on live and make comments and stuff?
Yeah, Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. same time on Wednesday morning.
Okay.
So Wednesday wrap up. We're still talking sports, but we kind of go into more sports than we do on Monday. We kind of go into WNBA, talk a little hockey. We talk about all the sports. But Monday, that's the football show where we just happen to talk about everything else. But that's when the football season comes around. Baseball and basketball do not exist on Monday. It's college football and the NFL for 60 minutes, sometimes longer than that, every single Monday, even after the season's over. So very rarely do we talk about baseball, basketball of any kind. It's very, very rare, but we do it. It's a football show primarily. Wednesday, we talk about everything.
Got to keep our priorities straight, man.
I know that's
I told you.
I know that's right.
So last time you and I talked was actually just before Caitlin Clark got left off the Olympic team. And so I've heard you guys talk about it on your show. I haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, or haven't created a chance. So I wanted to talk about that for a couple minutes tonight. We ain't going to stay on it long. Everybody else on the planet has already talked it to death, but I just wanted to get my shot at it. But I'm going to start with you. How did you feel about it ultimately? And, have you changed it all over the past 2 or 3 weeks, or your kind of outlook kind of stayed the same on it?
My outlook stayed the same. Honestly, because of the ways, and I think this is negligible, how they promote things. I didn't even know that was coming up. The voting for I had no idea what even happened. I found out about it right before Wednesday wrap up. We were going to talk about it on the show that Wednesday morning. That's how I found out about it. I didn't even know that stuff. But even if I did know about it in advance, honestly, you can't put her on that team. I looked at all of the stats for all of the leaders, and I thought it went by stats, but I found out later on that it's not really by stats only. So a lot of other different components. But when you put it all together, you can't put her on that team. Suppose suppose you put her on the team and she's not starting. Then you got a whole bunch of people you're going to alienate because her fan base is so rabid. You just create more drama than what you actually. I mean, some sports, franchises and organizations like drama, keeps eyes on the product. But in this case, it was the right deal. I mean, you got, and we did discuss this on the last time we did WNBA. There are a lot of players that have been there laboring for years, and they deserve some honor. They deserve their flowers. And nothing against Caitlin Clark, but they've been doing it for a long time, and they've earned the right to do something on that level. It wasn't like their play was bad. It's just that you don't know about it because one, it wasn't promoted well, and two, now that Caitlin Clark's in the league, now all we hear about is WNBA, and it's kind of it raises some questions as to how that can be. So I named people who I thought were stellar at basketball, but you just never heard about them before now, and they've been playing quality basketball for quite a while. But as a whole, the entire organization they don't do a lot of things well in the organization marketing promotion area. So they got at least a lot to be desired.
Ultimately, I was not in favor of her being on this team. And there's a million different ways to look at it. And listen, just as a prelude to that, anybody that say if NBC sports president, the president of NBC wanted to call the Olympic team and say, hey, is there any way we can get her on this team? I know she ain't gonna play a lot, but we could use the extra views. I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. But I'm a competitor, and I didn't see any reason for her to be on this team from a competitive standpoint because she's kind of new to the league. And even though she's playing well at times, she hasn't dominated. We've seen a few plays that shows some glimpses, and maybe she will in the next season or two, but she's not there yet. She just came from college. She's brand new to this. And I compare it to, because I'm an old guy, so I get to talk about things that happened 30 years ago. I remember when Christian Laettner got put on the dream team. So listen, Christian Laettner, just so y'all know, was my favorite player when I was a kid. I loved Duke Blue Devils, even before they were winning titles. Back when they were getting beat from year to year by North Carolina, when they were making the Elite Eights and losing in the Final Four, when they were getting run out the building by UNLV. I liked Duke, so I still liked them, of course, when they won their titles. And I loved Christian Laettner. But even I, as an 11-year-old kid, who Christian Laettner was my favorite player, thought it was weird for him to be on that dream team. And I know why they put him on there. It was just a nod to the fact that this had always been college players. And so they wanted to pick a college player, and he was the most decorated college player. So I get it. It was just so weird. You had Michael. You had Larry. You had Magic. You had Clyde Drexler. You had Chris Mullin, John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, the best to ever play the game. And then you had Christian Laettner on the team. It was just so weird, man.
You had to snub her, man. You had to. I mean, look at how they do in the regular Olympics. All the other categories that are non-basketball related. Those people work 3 or 4 years to get to the place to be ready for this. They're training for this thing like before we get there. She didn't have the time to do that kind of stuff, and it's a slight for you to put her in when people have been training for it, like Kelsey Plum and Breanna Stewart and some other names that have been doing it for a little while in preparation for this. You can't throw in somebody's name in the hat. It might get you more looks. It could be beneficial financially, but what you're going to create is a ripple effect inside in the sorority of the WNBA. You don't come back from those when that happens. So you gotta play this right. I don't think they played it very well so far outside of the Olympic snub. I think they've haven't done the right things here. That's why Clark has seen so much action on the parquet because of how things are being done around her. It ain't her fault. It's how things are being done around her.
And listen, money talks, and I understand that sometimes money reigns and money rules. I get that. But ultimately, I didn't want her on the team. It just would have felt weird, to be honest. She hasn't been in the league long enough to say, I've earned a spot. And 4 years from now, maybe she will earn a spot, but she just hasn't been there long enough. And that's just kind of how that sat for me.
On top of that, you know what? I think we did discuss this together when we got together. At that point, right? I think a couple of days before the so-called snub, the Fever, what they were rolling where they had almost no days. They probably barely had 2 days rest in their entire schedule up to that point. If it was, that's all they were getting. The rest of the league was getting a lot more days rest in between games. They were going at a fever pitch, and those girls were tired, and you can see it. It would be damaging to put her on that team with no rest and then expect her to come back out of the Olympics and get back onto the court in August and start trying to maintain the pace and trying to get the Fever to hold on to their playoff spot or at least cement it. They already had it at that time anyway. They have it right now still. But, so that was it's unreasonable to put her through that. So the best thing that can be done for her was for her not be there. What got me was her comment about how a little fire under her. I'm like, what are you talking about? There ain't no slight against you, man. You should be thankful. You didn't earn that. You should be happy. So my coach, little fire in me. I'm like, talking. That was uncharacteristic of her, in my opinion. I didn't never seen her go that direction. Like she was always really humble and stuff. Like that was nothing against you. People were there before you and they earned it. You have not yet. Hey, that's not hard to understand. You got an email address? I'll send an email and explain it to her. It's not hard. What are you talking about? You on a message board that we can go on and come on, man. That's not hard to understand. You got to earn that. She said it in press conferences all the time about earning it. Why is this an exception?
As a competitor, that's just where I'm at. And listen, you mentioned the Olympics here because we're gonna segue right into that. The Olympics are coming up in 4 weeks. The WNBA itself is going to take off 2 weeks. But listen, there's even Olympians who will never make the Olympics who devote 4, 8, and 12 years of their life just trying to get there.
Right.
And some of them never get there. They miss out by tenths of seconds or hundredths of seconds, whatever, to even make it. And it's their lifetime dream. They've worked at it since they were 14, 18, whatever, devoted all their life to it, really, up until a certain age when they're just too old to even try anymore, right? You're right about the WNBA specifically, but boy, when you scope it out and look at all these Olympic athletes, some of whom barely got in and some of whom barely missed, there are people working their butts off, and that is their only focus. She's got a whole career here in the WNBA ahead of her. The Olympics really are not her focus. Boy, there's a lot of Olympians who barely get in, barely get out. It is their whole focus. They devote their life to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I hope she over time she's understanding that this is earned, and I believe she's going to earn the respect of the league. If she doesn't already have it, she will. She'll earn it, and it'll be a lot less of the things that we saw, and she'll earn that. I'd love for her to get into the weight room. That'd be a fantastic idea to kind of tone up a little bit so you can take some of the physicality that happens because she loves to drive the lane, and there's contact, and she can't. She's almost doing LeBron type stuff right now, and it kind of ticks me off. She drives the lane, she gets a little elbow, and she's on the ground on the parquet. She's looking around with her hands out. I don't like that already. However, she can change. She can go through that, but LeBron hasn't done it yet. He's still the infant in that regard. He's still doing it. So I hate that, but that'll cause you to have more negative attention than less. So I hope she stops doing that kind of stuff pretty soon. But yeah, she's an incredible player. She deserves the props that she gets. And she broke a franchise record in the game I watched on, I think it was on Sunday, right? Sunday or Saturday. Man, this whole weekend was a blur. It was a Saturday or Sunday. I don't know what. I want to say it was Sunday. It had to be Sunday. The Fever versus the Sky. 13 assists franchise record. I thought that was cool. Hasn't been done before in the franchise. It's like, man, take ownership. hold on to the ball, do something with it. He probably would have won the game had that happened. But she was trying to defer and get her teammates involved, and that's what a good guard does anyway. So I respect her for doing that. But she's a really good player, man. She could definitely shoot. She could drive the lane. She makes good decisions. She's a really good player, man. She's going to be more special than you think she is right now. With some seasoning, some experience, she's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. You mentioned one thing she needs to work on, that is weight room, because she's not getting any taller, right? And she's not likely to get much faster, but she can get stronger. So taking those blows and those hits, because the league is physical, and occasionally she's going to get an extra blow because she's getting some extra attention, but she
Oh
needs to
yeah,
get a little more
absolutely.
physical. But the other thing she needs to work on too, and this partly is going to be with her teammates, is coming off of screens and curls to be ready to shoot the ball. It can't always be off of her dribbling. You saw this with Steph
I understand.
Curry, who is one of the insanely, maybe the best shooter of all time, right? He has literally reset expectations for how deep you can shoot the basketball. And she's not that, but in the WNBA, she's pushing the limits of how far out you can shoot. But she needs to be able to learn to do that off of screens and curls and cuts with her teammates, not just off the dribble. So when she continues to add that, continues to learn to do that, even when physical play is going on, that's when we'll see her game take the next level. She's doing a good job, but there's still things that she can work on as well. I did want to ask you about the Olympics coming up. So the WNBA is going to take off 2 weeks for this. And again, we won't get into all of who it may benefit or not benefit. But if you're a player on, say, the Aces, or if you're Caitlin Clark, or if you're any of the rookies who's going through this new league, how do you feel about the 2 week break?
I'm going to miss it because after I watched that game, I think I, to some degree, fell in love with this league. Had a love I haven't had since back in the day with Cheryl Swoops. I haven't cared about this thing as much as I do right now, which is good. We're talking about it and we're seeing things, paying attention. We're getting up to speed on things. It's going to benefit the Fever for sure. Like I said, they were on a fever pitch, and they were kind of rolling. Most of their recent runs and their recent wins were because they had significant rest. So you can see the difference in what happens when you give them some rest. They play a lot better, which is just science at this point in time. But the Aces could definitely use that. They got some little nagging injuries going on there, so some time would help them. Rookies overall, I guess so. I mean, that's kind of more like a general response for me. Yeah, it's gonna help everybody out to kind of get rested up because I think a lot of folks are banged up already, taking a lot of hits, especially the rookies like an Angel Reese, like a Caitlin Clark. They're getting a lot of action down there in the paint, so some rest to help them out. I know Cameron Brink is hurt. I think she tore ACL, so I'm not even sure she's even coming back this season. I
Yep.
haven't read anything, but when I hate ACL, I just count them out. I'm like, that's it. That's it for the season. Good it usually is. But yeah, it's definitely a benefit to rookies who need time to rest and recoup and get their mind right. But overall, everybody's going to enjoy the break, probably except me.
I know it shouldn't, because these ladies are professionals. It should not matter. But I do wonder if it's going to adversely affect anybody at all if it doesn't affect the Minnesota Lynx. Because
Hmm.
the Connecticut Sun are doing tremendous, but they did good last year. The Liberty are now at the top of the league, but they've been good for a couple of seasons now. The Aces, we know where they're going to become playoff time. They're going to be ready to do battle. So I'm not worried about any of those teams. I do wonder
Okay.
about the Lynx, though, because the Lynx are kind of doing a little bit better than what folks expected them to this year, and their shooting has been so good. And I do wonder a 2 week break here, because again, I know you're pros, it shouldn't matter, but sometimes it does. Does that throw them off any, considering they are around these other behemoth teams who have been there and done that?
I mean, that's not a bad point, man. When you're hot and you're shooting good, you don't want to not be shooting. So I
Yep.
guarantee you during these, you said about 2 weeks with the Olympics, they'll be
Yeah,
doing
about
drills.
2 weeks, man.
They be doing drills. I think they're in a really good spot being at 13-3. So I kind of feel like they kind of got a little wiggle room. I don't think they had to be super fearful. The Storm's right behind them, about 3 games back, but I don't think they have to panic. I think the folks that are middle of the road that are trying to get, you know, their legs back under them. Those are the ones that we probably wonder if this break is going to be good for them. We're going to start almost learning how to get hot again, teach themselves how to get hot. So it seems like we've been talking about like the Sky and the Dream, the Fever. I mean, they've been having problems with shooting anyways in some cases. Uh, Even the Mercury. So those middle of the road teams, those are the ones that I think probably consider like we on a run, we at 500 or whatever, and now we're taking a break. So your point's valid though, for sure.
It's always something to watch. And listen, I think teams and players, people can be unpredictable. The Aces, I did want to mention them because they've struggled a little bit this year. They're sitting at 8-6. I think they had a 3-game losing streak at one point just a week or so ago. But they've got Kelsey Gray back. I'm actually looking very much forward to them having Kelsey Gray back because it makes them much more of who they really are than when she's not on the court. She actually injured this foot in the game 3 of the finals last year. So she's not been with the team in terms of on-court active competitive playing since then. She's missed all of the season so far. So I really think with her back, I think we're going to start to see her, and maybe consider from now until the Olympics is kind of her time to get back with her team, right? And then once the Olympics are over and everybody's kind of hitting the restart button again, that's when I really think you'll see the Aces kick in gear here. But Kelsey Gray is tremendous. I think she really sets the floor for A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson doesn't need Kelsey Gray in order for A'ja Wilson to be successful individually. But A'ja does need Kelsey in order for this Aces team to be top of the league good and win another title.
You had me all thrown. You kept saying Kelsey. I'm like, okay, Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum are both on this team. I'm like, you saying Kelsey Gray, but you put them both together. I'm like, what? Took me a while to figure out what was going on. I'm like, okay, I'm with you now. But yeah, I'm not really worried about the Aces yet. You know what I'm saying? But they've been rolling. I don't know that. I'm trying to make sure I don't misquote this, but past couple of years, it doesn't seem like they played from this place to they're at right now. Seeing that they're at the top for the majority of the time the past 2 years. So this is a departure from that. That part's a little bit concerning. I like Gray, like you said, and I definitely like Kelsey Plum. She helps a lot being on that floor, and A'ja Wilson is just she's incredible. So I'm not I mean they're the champs until they're not the champs. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping the faith in that regard. But yeah, there's some cause for concern if they don't make a run in this next half. Now I'm not sure how long their seasons are. That's the one thing I might need you to help me out with that part. But after this little break, I don't know if there's another break that comes up or this is the end run toward the season. But man, they gotta pick it up. They gotta pick it up and pick it up fast because the clock is kind of ticking. And there's a couple of teams ahead of the standings, and that's not, and they're ahead by a good bit. It's not like a couple of games that they're ahead by some wide margins, so they got to definitely pick it up. Minnesota, like you said, and Seattle, who feel like they came out of nowhere. I don't know where they even came from, and they won 7 of their last 10 games, so they're hot. They're hot as you can be. Probably one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest in the entire beside Liberty, the hottest in the league right now. So as far as their last 10 games, so Aces better pick it up. They'll be in the playoffs for sure because they got that spot locked down if it started today, but no guarantees. So gotta find out how long these seasons last. See how this works. But
yeah, I liken the Aces to the San Antonio Spurs, and of course, there's lots of obvious connections with the Spurs anyway. But this is a team that I don't really look at in the regular season, as long as at some point mid to late regular season we start to see them catch their rhythm, right? So it's okay, and even like the Patriots, it's okay if they fool around in September. That was the old Patriot thing, right? Who cares? But at some point, mid-season, three-quarters part of the way through the season, you want to see that team start to put it together. And if they do that, and I'm 100% convinced the Aces will, you're like, okay, yeah, this is the team I would bet on heading into the playoffs if they're showing it all, the signs of, hey, we're starting to put this year's team together again. So I love the Aces. man, I wouldn't put money on anybody else in this league until somebody steps up and shows that they can actually beat the Aces. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. So this season is not much more left. They usually end around mid-September, and then the finals in late September. So I think because we in the Olympic year, they probably won't have the All-Star game now. So this is going to be they're in the stretch right now. When they come back off this Olympic break, I think you said 2 weeks, and they come back off of that, this is going to be it. Everybody's making a run to secure that playoff spot and try to stay in it because this is it. I don't think the Aces are going to have a problem, but I wouldn't fall asleep at the wheel right now. You definitely need to stay focused and do what you do best. I think Kelsey Plum should be on the way back. You mentioned Chelsea Gray, so hopefully that helps.
If we haven't made anybody mad yet, let's go ahead and try right now, okay?
Let's try. Good time.
I'm not trying to because, listen, there's plenty of things in my shows and my life that I need to work on. But I did want to talk a little bit about the WNBA and what all they could still work on as a league or in any retrospect there from the big picture, what they could work on over, say, the next 2, 5, 10 years, whatever, wherever you think, or maybe right now, maybe something new right now. What things would you think they could work on? And maybe let's just take our turns with one each until we're done throwing some stuff out.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot, just the very specific things I've been saying pretty consistently. I don't know how we can make anybody mad. You got to really be ready to be mad about something to get mad about what we're going to be talking about right now. But at the same time, they live in our world. They are among us.
There's a whole bunch of people ready to be mad about something, man.
They are among us. Honestly, me and the guys, we talked about it on countless Mondays. When does the WNBA season start? When do they play games? Honestly, we're talking about them now, and we're watching, and we don't even know. I found out most of the games by accident. There's a channel I hear called, you probably have it where you all call Ion Television. Mm-hmm. I watch old crime drama shows on Ion. That's how I found out the NBA had a game on, because they play it on the same. That's one of the channels they play. I think they have like 3 channels they play on different ones. The NBA TV, Ion Television, and there's a third one I can't think of right now. If I wasn't watching my shows on Ion, I would not even know that WNBA had a game coming up and if Fever and Sky were going to be playing. I wouldn't even know that had it not been for Ion Television and your show on Tuesday, Sports and Money. I wouldn't even have known. You know what I'm saying? So the marketing and the promotion is not good. And we bounced around the reason why we thought that could be. We kind of speculated about why that probably was, but why the ownership treats it the way that they do, without the attention to detail and the seriousness. But man, they deserve it so much. They deserve to be spotlighted. I mean, it's hard to put them on the same level as the NBA. Now I think we're just stretching it now. Now we're reaching, because the WNBA has been doing this a lot longer. So you can't treat it exactly the same, because it's not even apples and pomegranates. It's different. You know what I'm saying? But man, they've been around since what, 96?
Yeah.
It's not hard for you to give them some love and attention. They got historic people that were a part of this league and are historic in women's basketball. Women that were young girls that want to play basketball. These are the names that they hear about on their journey to becoming a professional, whether it be a Sue Bird or a Swin Cash or a Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, they got named Rebecca Lobo. You hear these names, and it's like, these people are come on, man. Nancy Lieberman. I mean, you hear these names, Diana Taurasi, and she's still playing, and she still has that kind of status. It's like, they got names. You have everything you need is right here. Use it. Why won't you do that? So I don't understand what the problem is with promotion and marketing, but those are the areas that they really kind of burn all of our biscuits on our respective shows. It gets us mad because, like, why are you doing this? We want to watch it. We want to see what's going on. And level of play is a lot faster and less plotting than it has been in years past. It's faster. It's more intense. It's more upbeat. We want to watch it. Help us. Tell us when you come on. Put it everywhere like everybody else does, so we can see when you come on, so we can decide to watch it or not. Sometimes we don't have a choice. The game came on, like, what happened? It was a game? I missed it. I mean, come on now. So those are the two areas that I'm baffled as why they won't address it. It's not like you don't have the money. The money is not an issue. You have the money. Why won't you use it in this manner? But hope that makes sense. That's kind of where my head's at with this.
No, and I think that's not one of the things I was going to put out there, but really? I think that's the number one thing, because your product is already good. You know, the product was okay in the 90s and it was okay in the early 2000s, but it's great now. You mentioned it. The product is so much faster. These girls are shooting from way beyond the arc. Some of them, not just Caitlin. Some of these girls are shooting sidestep threes and fadeaway threes. And I say nobody. It was very unusual for any WNBA girls to be doing that 30 years ago. That was very unusual, you know. And listen, the speed. For those of y'all who haven't seen, I think it's JuJu Smith. I get names mixed up, so I apologize. But the girl at USC that's coming, she is coming. You talk about a storm coming. There's a girl named JuJu that plays for the USC Trojans. She'll be up in the WNBA in a season or two whenever she's ready. You talk about a girl that is fast and can light it up both from outside, but mainly around the basket, kind of like Kyrie Irving. Okay, her handle around the basket is insane. She will light it up. She will fill up the cameras too whenever she's there. But the product is already good. You got good teams, good players, and a fun back and forth game. So you need to just market it better and brand it better. And that will start to bring the eyeballs in. So those are the two big things. You've already got that. The rest of the stuff I have is just, hey, how can we keep improving? That's really it. You know, one thing I don't like, the league is only about 12 teams, I think. So the league is still small. So you got at some point, and again, you don't want to try to grow too fast, because then that starts to bring in financial burdens, and that can actually break up the league. So I get that. But at some point, you need to be in more than 12 cities. Listen, you can't sit at 12 cities and continue to want people to watch you, because you're not in every part of the country. I mean, I get it, you're in every region, but there are so many cities that don't even have a team, and they may not even care too much about the WNBA unless it comes finals times, until you get a team in their city. So at some point, there's enough good college players to support more teams. That's not the part that I worry about. That's the financial side. Do you have enough finances, enough eyeballs on the TV sets, and enough people in stadiums to support additional teams? Because you're going to need them. You can't just keep on doing a 12-team league. That's a little bit small-ish. You need to start pushing toward 20 whenever you've done your studies and it's financially viable to do so. You got to get off of this 12. You can't just sit at 12. Another thing I would really like to see, and this is on-court play, I like the physicality. It's a physical league. There are some girls out there that can bruise, man. I mean, you talk about some horses out there, boy, some enforcers, man. They can play too, but they're it's kind of like hockey, man. Some of them girls are out there just to knock people around, you know, just put somebody on the ground, show that you can't run over us, right? That's okay. I'm all right with that. But I have noticed a lot of these defenses in WNBA overplay the offense, and that leads to a ton of turnovers. Now, Caitlin Clark has been hit for her turnovers, rightfully so. She has put out a ton of turnovers. But WNBA games in general have a lot of turnovers, and I mean a lot. And so much of that comes from these aggressive defenses overplaying all the passing lanes. And at first I thought, well, you know what? The girls need to be passing better. But I thought, you know, that's really not it. The coaches need to do a better job of starting to come up with game plans that actually beat these overplaying defenses. And that's where I wonder, you know, if you're the Aces, you don't have to worry about that. You're so good, you don't have to come up with special game plans for aggressive defenses unless you're playing, you know, the Liberty or Connecticut, right? But if you're one of these other poor teams in the league, and I don't know how good their coaches are, right? Because we're talking about the WNBA, only 12 teams. A lot of college coaches can make a bunch of money coaching college basketball in the women's place too. So I don't know how good the coaches are, but they need to do a better job of coming up with game plans that beat these aggressive defenses and cut down on kind of the sloppy level of playing we're seeing, because it's a little frustrating to see basketball played where it's just turnover. turnover, turnover, turnover. It really is from my side.
Yeah. For the expansion goals, they got 2 teams coming in. One's supposed to be next year, and the other one comes in 26. Toronto, I don't know the name of them, and Golden State team. I guess they'll be playing in the same arena as the Warriors. So Florida is getting left out of this one, which is kind of surprising. We're gonna have but Florida and California are weird places when it comes to sports. There's so much to do in those states that sometimes people don't really care and they don't show up for stuff. They probably didn't even show up for the sports game, but that's kind of even questionable that they actually really show up for that. But it's I'm not sure attendance is good over there. We can check it and fact check it, but I'm not quite sure it's good. But me with the turnovers, I think I learned a lot because I watched a full game for the first time. To be honest about it, just to be transparent. And this last Fever in the Sky, I watched the entire thing, quarter to quarter.
Oh yeah, good game.
What I saw, I didn't feel like it was a defensive situation that caused so many of the turnovers. I felt like a lot of it was a lack of focus. It felt like people were kind of like, let me put it this way. If you're in a frenzy, you're probably not going to do your best work. If you're frazzled at work and you got so much stress going on and your boss is just hammering you about your TPS reports and you can't even have your lunches, you're missing your breaks, it affects your ability to work. It affects your ability to focus. And you make mistakes. You put zeros where a 4 should be, and you have all kind of problems going on in your business life. Mm-hmm. When I watched that game, that's what I saw. It wasn't that Clark's passes weren't good. They were right on the spot where they're supposed to be. She's very good at doing that. They were in focus. That was Mitchell, another girl name I forget right now, but they weren't in focus. They were thinking about where the basket is, and rather than making a catch and establishing position, they were just trying to do everything at the same time. Catch the pass, keep your eyes toward the basket though, so you know where it is, and your defender. I'm like, you can't do all of that stuff at one time. Focus on the main thing. Get the ball in your hands so it's not inside your opponent's hands. Focus on that part first. You know, I might be oversimplifying it, and I don't mean to sound dismissive, but that's what it looks like. So in that case, anyway, and times I've seen it in other times, it seems like it's the same thing. People are just making mental mistakes and flubbing the ball. It's like wide open layups. And it's like you're missing them. That's concentration. That's focus.
That's a great point, and I wouldn't deny that. So when I go watch the NBA, and again, the leagues aren't the same. I get that. But the WNBA has become a very fast league, and I see a lot more turnovers. I see a lot more turnovers and sloppiness on the WNBA side than I see on the NBA side. And players, coaches, I would love to see everybody just kind of step up the crispness because the speed is there. I mean, it's so fun to watch. But again, I'd rather see a little bit more scoring and maybe a little bit less turnovers coming off of some of that. So anything else on the WNBA before we're done, Matt?
I hope everybody decides to watch it. It's actually a really good product. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, the UFL wasn't even that exciting. I'm talking about 4 quarters of excitement. I'm talking about there wasn't a boring fourth quarter in any game that I watched this year. It was exciting from end to end. And I mean, you can't, as a sports fan, you can't beat that, man. The NFL doesn't even do that. Major League Baseball can't even pull that off. It's like, I think NBA games aren't even like that either a lot of the time.
Right.
They have loads, but these guys are just high octane, 90 miles per hour all the time. And it's refreshing to watch that. And it's really an entertaining product. So check out the WNBA and give these girls a chance. They deserve it. They're playing some fantastic ball out there. They deserve it.
It really is. It is a good product, and like everything else that can be improved, but it is a fun watch. Almost not every game, because not every game can be great, but most of the games that I watch in WNBA, they're fun. It's back and forth. There's something interesting going on, so it's very much worth the time. Man, I've enjoyed it. Let's do it again in 2 or 3 weeks, okay?
Good, brother. Good times, man.
All right. Everybody, thank you for listening. I'm planning to do a couple of Chiefs videos here in a week or two as well. I promised I would do those at my leisure over the summer. We got a couple of interviews out there as well, so go check them out with some very interesting people. And have a great one. Thank y'all. Bye.